Greetings to everybody. How are you? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got something a little bit different again. I have this fairly old Einhell drill, which I've had for quite a few years, given to me by a friend of mine because the batteries are dead. There is nothing there, and I thought it would make an interesting project one day to change out the batteries. Having never got round to it, I thought now would be the time to have a go, and I've come up with a plan to make something, well, which is worthless here really, into something useful again. It's always handy to have an extra drill, because if you're drilling and countersinking, for example, you have the drill in one, countersinking the other, etc, etc, or perhaps you want to drill a pilot hole and then a larger hole. Then having two drills saves you changing the bits all the time. So let's make this into something useful. I had a look around and thought, well, if I could change the battery for something else, it'd be better. So we'll take that out for a moment. And what I thought was, I have here Parkside, readily available, very cheap. I think this one was 14 euros or something, so not very expensive at all. Looked around and found that there are adapters available online like this one, so that you can print on a 3D printer. And I thought, well, I have a small 3D printer, I'll give it a go. So I printed out this, which is a universal type thing. You can get other ones for DeWalt and Makita, etc, but seeing as I have this type of battery, I thought I would use this. The plan is, now this is printed out, to modify the base of this cheap drill, stick on or bolt on this adapter plate so that we've got the battery and drill working. So hopefully by the end of this video this should work. I know it was working beforehand, but it would only work for about 2 minutes before the battery went flat. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see how we get on doing this. Now then, what I have got collected here, I've got 2 bits of wire, fairly heavy duty 2mm wire, and for this adapter obviously you need the connections for the battery. There are 2 slots which are printed into this for you to slide pieces of metal into, so that when this clips onto the battery, the metal goes into these 2 slots here, one positive, one negative. I thought for a while what I was going to use, and then came up with this plan. I've got some stainless steel clamps, they're hose clamps basically, and they're stainless steel, so they're ideal thickness. A little bit too big, so what I did was I trimmed one of these down. So I've been trying for a little while off camera to get this to actually take, without a lot of luck. So I decided what I'm going to do is make a couple of more. Well, that one took, so I'll leave that one as is. Well, I have got plenty of these plumbing fittings, which are copper, ideal. So what I've done is I've cut one down the middle with a pair of tin snips, and then opened it up. Just going to squish it a bit flatter than it is, like that, and I'll probably give that a little tap on the anvil just to get it flat, and then I'll cut it into strips. I'll cut 2 strips like that, cut it off there and along there, and then I'll be back to try again. Now that's finally done. I've got a piece of copper now in there, and it's all soldered in nice and strong. And next plan is to fill this cavity here with some hot glue. I'm waiting for the hot glue gun to warm up a little bit. That'll hold the cables in place and stop the tabs moving around when we plug it in and unplug it. We should wait and see how long that's going to be. Probably about 3 minutes for me and about 4 seconds for you. And now hot glue is up to temperature, I hope. We'll fill this in. Not quite there yet. Getting close. Melting slowly. Ah, here we go. I'll fill it right up, so I don't want these cables moving. That's it. And that appears to have done it. It's really nice. Nice and full. All the way around the cables. It's in the back there as well. That's it. Excellent. Turn that off. We'll wait for that to cool, and then we'll start test it and see if it works. And if it does and all is well, then we'll start modifying the drill. Okay, so we've got it all glued in. I have been back and changed the positive terminal because that hadn't taken properly. So hopefully now when we test it, it should be good. Let's try. Keeping these apart because we don't want to short out the battery. And I'll set this up for voltage. We've got 200 volts. There's probably a slightly more than 20 in this. And hopefully when we touch these here and here, we have got a voltage. It's not very good though. Ah, there it is. 20.5 volts. Excellent. I can't be making a very good contact on this end. Try that again. 20.5 volts. Excellent. So now we have got our adapter that works with our battery. The polarity is correct. All we need to do now is modify the drill to take the adapter. So our first port of call is to look at this, I suppose, and see what we've got here, because on the top here is marked the positive and the negative. Positive this side, negative that side. So that's positive on this side. So just mark that there with a plus and that with a minus, so we know. You can see inside there got our 2 terminals in there, and they'll need cleaning up a little bit, and then hopefully I can tin onto that with some solder. But before we get around to that, what I'm going to have to do next is I'm going to trim off the lip, just to make a tidier job, and trim off the lip so that the battery, where did I put that iron? So that this battery adapter will fit on there and neatly fit, because it's a little bit wider. I mean, I could take it down a bit, but I think the best plan is to just chop this away, chop the front away, get it back as far as I can so it's as neat as I can get it, or maybe even all the way, if it'll go, and go to about there. So I'll cut it off here and here, trim it down, and then when I've got that off I'll trim it across. Take out that screw, I suppose, as well, because we won't need that anymore. And we'll fix it. We'll have some bolts, well, little screws with nuts. We'll drill some holes. There's already 4 holes in this thing. Make them slightly bigger, countersink, bolt it on. Trim these little bolts off afterwards, probably with the Dremel, and that's that. And then if we ever need to take this apart again, we can by just taking the bolts out, and job will be a good one. And we'll see how we get on. I shall set up for this and get the little Dremel out. Right, I found something for that. A small cutting wheel and a spare one sitting there. Tighten this up, plug in and wait for the noise. Ready to go. I think first off I'll just cut here. Seems to be doing the job. Nice. Okay. I'm going to snap that off. That seems to have done the job. Made a nice mess. Okay, let's put this in here. Put this onto there. Mark round it. Like that. And just cut that off. Got. There's a little screw in there. Good news. take that screw out, or just cut round it. I'm going to take the screw out. Let's be a little bit more scientific. Better than hitting it with a hammer, I suppose. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just cut through it. Never mind the scientific bit. Let's just chop it off. Lovely. There's that bit. And now cutting with the screw is still in the way. I don't think it's going to come out though. Ah, there we go. Got it. Done and dusted. One totally annihilated drill, which is still hot. Hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. I'll just smooth the edges down a bit now, and let's see if this fits on here fairly neatly. Yeah, that looks okay. That should be alright. Just clean it up a bit and get rid of this little piece here. Just keep going. Okay, the battery died there, so I had to put it on charge. Took the opportunity to have a quick sweep up, get rid of some of the crap, and now we're left with that, which looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but this now fits on here and it fits in such a way so that it's nice and tight. It'll bolt up nice, and the yellow just protrudes slightly, so I can file that back afterwards and get a reasonable job. Same on both sides. So next plan, these holes are a little bit small in this for these bolts, so I'll just run a 5mm drill through those and try that. That's more like it. And they need to be countersunk slightly so that the heads are flush. So I shall run the 4 holes through. That's it, lovely. Yeah. More mess, lovely. Get rid of that. And now we need a countersink bit. Countersink that a little bit more. And go one countersink bit. We'll have that. And just increase that countersink slightly. a little bit more. That'll do. Okay, let's see if that works. Yep, that's flush. So is that one, and that one, and that one. Excellent. Right. Next job, we'll drill the holes in this to accept those little bolts. I'll just poke these into here for now. We'll solder those in a moment. Line this up as best we can. Change to drill bit. This would be ideal place to have two drills. So that's what we're working on. Okay, line this up again. Looks pretty good. Just run the drill through here. Try not to run it through my finger. I'll put one bolt in. Put a nut on it just for now, just to hold it in place, and now we can do the others. Put another bolt in there. No need for a nut this time, just hold it in so it holds it square. And we go through this one. Excellent. And the last one. Brilliant. We'll take this off, and we should have something half decent. Just turned my fan off there, it's very warm here today. Okay, get some of this garbage out of here and off the back. Get rid of some more of this. Okay, now then, what we need now, I'll put that battery under there. We need to solder these on. So I'll just warm up the soldering iron and we'll solder those on. Okay, now the soldering iron's hot. We've marked this beforehand. We've got negative this side, positive that side. Which, well, of course, we've got the positive, which is the brown here, and the negative, which is the blue. I have tinned inside there when I put these on, so it should be ready just to solder these on, and then we can bolt it up and see if it works, which would be nice. So I'll just solder this up, if they can stop this drill moving around. That's the negative lead. Turn it over. got a bit of plastic in there. I'll get that out and see if I can get the positive lead in there, preferably without burning that blue wire. That's it. It's a little bit tricky because it's right down inside the hole. It's got to be difficult to see. So I think I've got it. Not sure. Possibly. Can't quite see inside there. I'll put some more light on the subject. And I'll try tinning that again. That's it. Now then, I just hold it on top, melt the wire. No, it's still not there. Just a very awkward spot to solder in. Now we've got it. Excellent. Okay, now I suppose we could put the battery on there now and try it before going to the fun of bolting it all together. Let's just clip this on here and see what happens. A working drill. Fantabulous. Get rid of this. Battery over there. And now I'll put this in here. I'll just curl these up inside here and bolt this down. There's the one. We've got little nuts and washers. Put the washers on. So it spreads the load a little bit on this plastic, otherwise it'll just crack it. I was thinking of trimming these off afterwards, but I'm not sure I will. Depends on whether they get in the way. If they do, then I'll just cut them off flush and smooth them off. A little screwdriver here, we'll tighten these up. Don't need them overly tight. And we'll just hold that with a pair of pliers in a moment. In fact, I've got a pair here. I'll just hold them with that. Lovely. Another one. Just tighten the other side. could have just glued this on, but then if you want to take it apart again for any reason, then it'll be a bit of a nightmare. Right, and that's it. Just got a shape around here and here, make it a little bit tidier. And yes, those do touch the hand, so I think I will cut them off. And now we've got a working drill. Lovely. So, yeah, a little bit of work now to tidy this up. There you go. Just tidy this up a little bit, and we should be good to go. I shall just tidy this up off camera with a file. That'll take a little while, but I'll be back as soon as I've done that, and I'll just trim these off as well with a little Dremel. Once I've done that, I'll be back to show you the finished item. Okay, and that's about it. Trimmed that off. Trimmed it off nice and flush on either side. Bolts are there, trimmed the bolts off so they don't catch in your hand. And now we have a functioning drill, which seems to do the job. Doesn't seem too much power for it. Fairly neat. Still quite comfortable to hold. Just another useful addition. And it just shows that you can change from the old battery type to the new lithium ion without having major wiring problems. I mean, to do that with this, you have to take this apart, use the newer cells, have some circuitry in there to stop it when it's charging, and lots of soldering, lots of fiddling. I mean, this way you get a lithium ion pack, which is cheap to replace, and you can double they sell these twice as large. I think they're a bit more expensive, they're about 20 odd euros, but fairly neat and useful. I hope you enjoyed this. I shall keep doing what I'm doing. Have another one to do at another time. I think I've got a Black & Decker one. I might try and make something that actually slots into that one. Design it on CAD and have this at the bottom, so that I can just slot it in like a normal, because it's a similar battery to this, slot it in like a normal battery, but use one of these. See if that's at all possible. I might do that in the future. As it is now, I've got two drills, well, a spare one anyway, and that'll be it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this, please hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.